Selling in a down market, what is a red light short sale? We just covered green in the previous video, and now in our upside down series, we're going to cover red light. This is going to be useful for realtors as well as homeowners. Although this is coming from my listing attorney YouTube channel, if you'd like to have a realtor who has an attorney on their team who understands this, who's agreeing to get paid by the bank and not you, realtors are paid by the bank in short sales. Attorneys, especially broker attorneys, can also be paid by the bank in a short sale. You should have a good team working for you at no extra cost to you. That's the promise of underwaterrealestate.com. But right now I'm going to talk to you about why you want this, because you want to avoid red light short sales. Realtors, you need to know this too, because you can turn well-advised home sellers with a red light short sale may want to go to yellow. For instance, there are people who want a loan workout, their security clearances or their jobs or their personal code will not allow them to take a foreclosure, and they might be willing to risk some tax liability on a red light short sale, so they become a yellow light short sale. Or if you're going to get a better result through negotiations, you can turn a red into a yellow light short sale. We're going to discuss what makes a red now. A red light short sale would be someone with a non-recourse loan and a bank who won't give you the right approval language. Now, there are options, but that's why, because not every short sale works. Sometimes the bank's not cooperative, and they're like, this is how we do things. And your green light person may become a red light if they're not well advised. They always need to have a backup plan. They always need to understand, if the bank doesn't agree and you don't want to risk liability on your taxes, then you need to have a backup plan. So you should be saving your money. If you don't have to do a short sale while you're negative, but if you did, I advise people to save that money in case you need to reinstate and try something new. So that can save a red light. The people have saved their money and can reinstate. And so now that's sort of like, if that's part of the plan, you can go ahead and try things, making it a yellow light. A red light also is when on a recourse loan. It's because of the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act expiring. When the bank sends out a 1099-C at the end of the short sale, they're going to send out a 1099-C frequently for the amount that came in short. So let's say that was $100,000. And we'll talk to you about how you can reduce it in future videos. But let's just say that it comes out as a $100,000 1099-C. If you're a client, hasn't spoken with an attorney, and doesn't know how to exclude that income, then that will be seen as income. It can put them in different tax brackets. They might pay, by the time they're done with the feds, they might $20,000, $30,000, wherever their tax bracket is with that 1099-C. I'm serious here. They get this 1099-C, they go to presumably TurboTax. TurboTax is going to say, let's see if we can exclude this income. In the past, they would have said, the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act here covers you. There is no Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act right now. It expired December 31st, 2025. So you type $100,000. It says, tell me your 1099-C or A, $100,000 in TurboTax. If they're really sophisticated, they might say, was this? Well, they can't. That would be bad. If TurboTax is trying to determine whether you owe money and all they look at is a non-recourse loan, and you did a short sale, they should be looking at the approval letter too. So I don't know how TurboTax could do this, but I will say, if you have a recourse loan, and TurboTax will probably be able to figure that out, they're going to say, are you insolvent? Are you going to file bankruptcy? If not, they're going to, do you have some other reason? Ideally, I don't even know if they're going to be that sophisticated. And we'll talk about other reasons in a second. But they're going to say, well, then I'm going to have to include that as your income, and you're going to owe on it. I don't see how a CPA, who's not an attorney, legally could advise you on what your options are here. If they can't find the out for you, I think you're going to have to work with an attorney to advise you. And the attorney's going to go through, are you filing bankruptcy? Are you technically insolvent? Maybe other practitioners will go to the IRS website, download the insolvency worksheet, and see if you're insolvent at the right time, and maybe that'll save you. But this should be done ahead of time. There's a red light. If you have recourse loan, all short sales are a red light until you get yourself into an exclusion. And then you make sure your approval language is good. So I'm going to now say that one of the things you could talk to an attorney about, but it should be ahead of time, is disputing the debt. Because disputing the debt is an out to owing taxes But the IRS is going to probably examine this. You probably want a letter from your attorney explaining why that 1099 is inaccurate because you disputed the debt. And it's up to you and the attorney to determine what level of dispute and proof you want. This is not something a realtor or a CPA should even be addressing. And I'm not sure, like I know a few in my head that I'd say, yes, that's good. I'd go ahead and take the risk. But I think you always want to have a backup plan. That backup plan is foreclosure or reinstate. Foreclosure is better than a short sale if you're absolutely risk averse with respect to owing the taxes and you're not automatically in the one of the exclusions of bankruptcy or insolvency. Like these are the things I would talk to you about. Like I've got to ask you. You might say, John, I can't take a foreclosure, but I need to get out. I'm being transferred. I'm in the military. I have a security clearance. I mean, these are people I worked with in the past. I will even say I used to get a ton of I must have been on a listserv. I used to get a ton of clients in the military and even some clients with security clearances. And all of a sudden it stopped because I remember there was one, I don't know why I'm associating with SEAL, but really a heavy duty operator type dude. And I couldn't help him. And he was really nice. He'd bring in like shirts. They were probably like recruiting shirts and other things. And he really was trying to get me to help him. And he just would not. I was like, I've tried. I've sent the letters. I'm trying to dispute. None of this is I'm comfortable with. I cannot tell you how to do this. And I think he was asking me to send letters to his boss and whatever. And I just couldn't. And I never got another military client again. So like those listservs were important and I understand it. And I mean, this was probably really career threatening to him. And there was nothing, he didn't work retroactively, or there was nothing I could do for him. I don't know whether it was retroactive anymore, if he'd already done it, he was trying to get help. And I'd helped lots of people for free in the military before, and I could tell. I mean, I got so many military people and never had another one after that guy. So that, you know, do I know for sure? No, but I imagine he badmouthed me on the listservs that they were all using. And I regret it. I liked the guy. I just couldn't help him. So that's like, you know, if I can't help you and somebody else can't help you, you know, that's a red light short sale. And then you have to decide, like you might say, well, what can we do to minimize? And there are things we can do that absolutely most like, well, if they give you the full amount, if they're short at 100,000, they give you a 1099 for 100,000, we can definitely minimize that amount. And I feel very comfortable telling you we can do that with the IRS. There are far more complicated ways to address this. I can tell you, I think the whole framework of the mortgage debt forgiveness with the bank, with the IRS is not really consistent with the Constitution. I'm going to tell you right now. I trace this back. I have a simple framework. There used to be sports stars in the Reggie Jackson era. He might be the guy. I don't know why my brain keeps saying Reggie Jackson, but they used to do like little tricks, like, and I'm not saying it's Reggie Jackson, but for sports stars who made crazy money and they liked announcing this on TV. There was a time when they would give people $1 million loan and tell them they didn't have to pay it back. And the IRS was like, that's income. You don't have to pay back a loan. That's income. If you have to pay back a loan, it's not income. So that's the theory behind income. Regardless of what the, you know, I've argued with ChatGPT in these AIs because they really buy into the IRS framework, and it's super convoluted. It's not the reality. It's not mirroring the transaction. And the IRS always in the end has to mirror the reality, not their conceived tricks or your conceived tricks. The courts get to the reality. The acid test is reality. Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act, you borrowed a loan, the bank, and you agreed to the worth of that property. They get that property back. Why are you, the homeowner, getting some sort of advantage when they got the property back that the money was lent against? That, if you understand what I'm saying, takes it out. The IRS is eventually going to lose. So if you want to do a short sale, or you're in another state where you only have a recourse loan and you want out, you should talk to me. I've saved it. It's very, very painstaking to go through the IRS work and the case law, but I've saved it and I've got it and we can discuss it and I'll tell you what I think and I'll tell you like what I would do for the money, how many rounds. Like I want to test this. So I want to go through a bunch of rounds with the IRS on this because I don't believe the IRS, like they're losing on when they're trying to make a stand and they know it. And I don't think they'll fight to the end because they will lose. Their whole theory of mortgage debt and whether it's the equivalent of free money is wrong. And they have a convoluted, ugly way to evaluate it. It doesn't make any sense. And I'm very confident in that assessment. I'm not saying I'm confident I'll win, but I have no problem making the arguments for the right client. But most of you, this doesn't apply. It's like red light, short sale. Can you handle the risk? Do you want to take the risk? If not, you need to consider foreclosure or reinstatement. That's a red light short sale as a realtor in a recourse state. This goes for like every loan in Florida from which I'm aware. I was once licensed there. I moved back and I stopped paying. But at the time, I know there was no anti-deficiency protections. I don't think there's been any changes. So if you're a client, if you got a recourse loan in Florida or any other state, because I can speak to this as an attorney on a national level with respect to the IRS. If you've got recourse loans and you don't know how to exclude it, when you get like a Florida, you could have a $200,000 1099-C for someone it's a second home. They live back east. They think doing a short sale was cool. And maybe they got released from the deficiency in writing. You're going to get a massive tax bill. And I don't know. I certainly don't think you got an automatic winner there. So that's really a warning to everybody. Sorry this got a little long, but I wanted to let you know that this is a major problem with the Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act expiring. Thanks. My name is John McConnin. Find out more at listingattorney.com. If you're a realtor and you want to work on our team, underwaterrealestate.com. Thanks.